Ms. Joshi, is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yes,
You
Your
are
Honor.
suing Mr. Varna for $9,200.
That's correct.
A lot of money.
Yes.
Okay, so I've read your statements. I kind of have an idea, but why don't you start from the beginning?
So I am suing my ex-fiancé, Sunil, in breach of a verbal contract. We had decided to follow a traditional custom, which is arranged marriage. We met through our parents last November. I had been dating in LA and wasn't very successful, so since I was coming of age, I'm 35 years old.
Okay, I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now because this one genuinely broke my brain. We have a bride, a groom, an arranged meeting through family, a 6-month Zoom courtship, a PowerPoint proposal. Yes, you heard me, a PowerPoint. And then, days before the wedding, everything falls apart. And when I tell you the reason, you are not going to believe it. I barely believe it, and I watched the whole thing. Stay with me, because this case has layers.
It was customary for our parents to get involved and introduce us through.
How does that work in the Indian culture?
It's typically done through a network of friends and family, and it's usually through someone that is knowledgeable about the other person's family.
What if you don't like each other? What do? You still have to marry each other?
No, you don't have to marry each other. In fact, that's why Sunil and I spoke for a long time. We wanted to make sure there was chemistry and a connection and a bond, which we built.
Mr. Varna, how did you know, or how did your parents know Ms. Joshi's family?
Well, there's a wide-knit community among the Indians in Dallas, Texas, where we're from, and mutual friends recommend people, and so we had our first initial meeting over Zoom.
How long did you guys date?
6 months.
6 months. Okay. All right. So 6 months of Zoom.
So 6 months of Zoom. Actually, even within a few weeks, we kind of knew that we wanted to take it to the next step, and the next step being getting engaged.
Is that true, Mr. Varna?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So I was surprised, actually, that he had already been in contact with my family, and he had seen my Pinterest board, so he had an idea of what I liked from a ring perspective, and he had the ring shipped to my home, and my parents were involved. And one day when we were Zooming, he happened to share, I know it sounds absurd, Your Honor, but it was a PowerPoint presentation of a really sweet, picture of our future. And kind of from there, my parents came into the room with flowers and the ring he had already purchased and presented
Very
it
romantic,
to me.
Mr.
I
Varna.
really care for her.
Very romantic. Okay, and
was
you
very
said
sweet.
yes, obviously.
Yes, I was more than excited and ecstatic, and I wanted to get married.
So, Mr. Varna, you had the same reaction towards Ms. Joshi? I mean, I know it's hard for you to talk about because I know your fiancé's here, right?
ma'am.
Ms. Gupta.
Yes.
So, but was it you had the same reaction to Ms. Joshi?
Well, Your Honor, I come from a conservative family, so we aren't really allowed to date very much in my family, but anybody who I was going to pursue a serious relationship, maybe even marriage with, had to be vetted by my parents. And so there were a few criteria that the person that I was going to end up being with had to meet. And I've been with a few people, but the person that I was going to end up marrying had to be Ivy League educated and beautiful and somebody that we'd get along with in terms of our families.
Those were your...
Those were my family's stipulations and stuff that I agreed with as well.
Okay. Okay.
To really
All right.
go along
so
with
then
it.
what happened then?
So after we got engaged and we had this beautiful conversation, obviously everything is done on Zoom, a few days later, Sunil spoke to me again on Zoom and had something very important to tell me. And he took off his shirt.
So here's the setup. Nirali Joshi is suing her ex-fiancé, Sunil Varma, for over $9,000. These two were introduced through their families in the Indian community. Dallas meets LA. And they connected over Zoom for 6 months. Within weeks, they knew they wanted to get engaged. Sunil had already checked her Pinterest board for ring inspiration, coordinated with her parents, and then proposed via a PowerPoint presentation on a Zoom call while her parents walked into the room with flowers and the ring. I mean, Romantic? Bizarre? Both? I genuinely cannot decide. Now, Sunil comes from a very conservative family, and I want you to hold on to that word, conservative, because it is going to become very relevant very fast. He told the court that anyone he was going to marry had to be Ivy League, educated, beautiful, and family approved. Nirali checked every single box. They got engaged, everyone was happy. And then a few days later, Sunil gets back on Zoom and takes his shirt off.
And showed me the names of some of his previous relationships, two of which, and by the way, I have evidence on this, Your Honor, so
Okay.
may I present this?
Thank you.
As you can see, they're pretty prominent on his body, on his back, as well as the front. And
tattoos. You have tattoos. Okay, tattoos. All right. So do your parents know you have tattoos?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And they're okay with it, even though they're super conservative?
Well, that's part of the story, actually. It was something that I did for myself because, as I mentioned, we're very conservative, and I've been with 7 women prior to Nirali, and I decided to...
Your parents didn't know?
They didn't know, and I decided to honor each relationship by getting them tattooed on my own body. That was my own little secret. It was my way of celebrating each relationship because everybody meant something to me.
You are a lover, not a hater, right?
I'm a very passionate person, yes, ma'am.
Okay, we are stopping here because I cannot let this moment just slide by. I need you to fully absorb what just happened in that courtroom. This man, who described himself and his family as conservative, who pursued an arranged marriage because of those values, who proposed through a coordinated family ceremony, has the names of 7 women tattooed across his body. 7. Not 1. Not 2. 7 previous girlfriends, permanently inked onto his chest and his back. And he revealed this to his fiancée on a Zoom call, days after getting engaged, by simply taking his shirt off. I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the sheer contradiction of it all. You cannot present yourself as someone from a conservative background who hasn't really been allowed to date freely and then reveal that you have been with 7 women and memorialized every single one of them on your skin. That is not conservative. That is the opposite of conservative. Those two things cannot coexist in the same sentence, let alone on the same person. Now, I want to be fair here. People have pasts. Nobody is walking into a marriage with a blank slate. And tattoos, whatever you think of them personally, are a personal choice. I respect that. But there is a massive difference between having a past and wearing your past on your body in a way that your future spouse has to look at every single day for the rest of their lives. That is not about judgment. That is about what was agreed to. Because here is where the legal angle becomes crystal clear, and I am honestly baffled that the judge missed it. Sunil agreed to remove those tattoos before the wedding. That was the condition Nirali set. He accepted it, and they moved forward together on that basis. That is a verbal contract. That is an agreement between 2 people with consideration on both sides. She stayed in the engagement. He committed to removal. That is the deal. 4 months later, 2 days before the wedding, Nirali goes to his aunt's house for the Sangeet, the pre-wedding celebration. She walks into the guest bedroom while he's changing, and 2 of those tattoos are still there. Not faded, not mid-process. Still there. And when she asked him why, he told her he'd decided on his own that he was keeping those 2 because, quote, those women meant a lot to him. He made that decision alone. He did not tell her, he did not call, he did not send a message. He showed up to his own wedding with 2 tattoos he had promised to remove, said nothing, and expected her to just discover it 2 days before they were supposed to get married. That is not a miscommunication. That is a deliberate choice to withhold something he knew was important to her. And the judge sat there and asked why Nirali didn't give him a chance to explain. He had 4 months to explain. He had a phone, he had Zoom, he clearly knows how to use it. He proposed on it. If he was running into problems getting them removed, if it was taking longer than expected, if there was any issue at all, he had every opportunity to tell her. He chose not to. And then he let her walk into that room and find out herself. And then, on top of everything, we find out one of those remaining tattoos was for a girlfriend who had passed away, and another was his first love. Now, I do have empathy for grief. Losing someone is real, and it is painful, and I understand why that tattoo feels significant. But that conversation, that context, should have happened long before the engagement. If those 2 were always going to stay, Nirali deserved to know that up front, not discover it in a guest bedroom 2 nights before her wedding. The human angle here is this. She was not being unreasonable. She was not being a bridezilla. She walked into an engagement with a specific agreement in place. She honoured her side of it, and she was blindsided at the worst possible moment. Her reaction? Crying, feeling hurt, needing time to process. That is a completely human response to a complete breakdown of trust. And the judge calling that a breach of contract because she's the one who said the words, "I can't do this," when he is the reason she said them, that logic does not hold up.
So you saw this, Ms. Joshi, and you didn't like the tattoos, or what was your reaction?
I was horrified, to be
Why horrified?
honest. I felt like we had built a bond, and then to see that sort of compared to the women that were on his body, I felt a little bit taken aback. And
did it bother you that he had tattoos, or did he bother you they had the name of the women he had been with on his body?
The names
What was
that,
it?
was a little bit of
Was
both.
tattoo one of your things that you couldn't have for a mate?
I wouldn't have minded a butterfly or something like that, but this was a little too...
So it was the fact that it was women that he had been with prior that bothered you?
Yeah, I think if I was going to be intimate with my future husband, I didn't want a constant reminder of all the women he had been with. If this is
So that was your condition?
Your
I
Honor,
condition-
Your Honor, I even though I can see that she expressed discomfort with the tattoos, I was okay with removing them because
Really?
He agreed
she
to
meant
it.
a lot to me. She meant a lot to me, and I felt like I found somebody special, and I wanted to pursue the relationship.
Wow. So
I
you
agreed.
agreed to remove them?
I agreed to
I mean,
remove
that
the
takes time.
That's
and
exactly
these are
right.
little tattoos, and it's painful.
That's exactly right. I had to endure
And
over 4 sessions.
expensive.
A lot. It's much harder to remove a tattoo than to get one.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
going to take forever.
But the idea of having a happy life with her was helpful.
So you were willing to give up your tattoos?
That's right.
And I would have done the same, Your Honor.
Did she give you a certain amount of time where you had to take them off?
Well, before the wedding, we had to get it done. Yes.
How much time did you have?
I had about 4 months.
That's not
I had
enough
about-
time. How many tattoos did you have?
I had
1, 2, 3,
7.
4, 5, 6, 7 tattoos.
7 tattoos. Yes.
I don't know if that. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I don't know if that's medically
It cost a lot of
recommended.
money. It was 4 sessions to remove 5 tattoos that I was able to
Ouch.
remove, and
Could you have not waited? I mean, done one at a time, and then after the marriage, done a couple of the
well,
other ones?
I just looked for a solution. I just wanted to find.
But
what
you
would
didn't.
work.
You just said, "I'll try to get them all off," right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
But her understanding was that I was going to get them all done by the.
I mean,
wedding.
you're an Ivy League educated woman. You understand that could
I
be a little
understand it's
difficult.
a process, but
But you wanted it, and that's it. That's what you wanted.
well, I was open-minded to the fact that it was a process and it was going to take time. However, when
More than 4 months.
when I finally met him in person, that was actually a violation of our trust
A
because
violation of my trust. What do you mean?
because when I saw him, so what had happened was I went to his aunt's house. We typically have a sangeet, which is a celebration, a night of singing and dancing, 2 days before the wedding. And I went to his aunt's house, which is where he was in LA. The wedding was in LA. And I surprised him in the guest bedroom, and he was changing. And I noticed that the 2 tattoos in the front of his body were not off. And so I started crying and asked him what happened.
Crying?
Yeah, I was upset. It was a little triggering. And
Why was it triggering?
just-
I mean, you're an Ivy League educated woman. Did you not say, "Sweetheart, what happened? Was
I
it too
did.
painful
Your Honor,
for
this
you?
was the first time
Did
that
you
we
run
ever-
out of money? Are you okay? How long is it going to be?" But you immediately reacted. And you started to cry.
I was
So it was
taken
all
aback.
about you, not about him.
I was taken aback, and I asked him what I saw that the other tattoos were in the process of being removed, and I asked about the front, and he said he decided on his own that he was not going to do that because these 2 women meant a lot to him.
It sounds like this relationship was all about you, though, about what you wanted.
I felt that he had agreed to something that we had both decided
It's
we wanted a
unfair
fresh
to make
start.
him agree to something like that. Agree something like make sure you finish your bachelor's degree, maybe. Make sure that you have a full-time job. Make sure that we have health insurance. I'm talking about life principles, things that really matter in a relationship. I can see you, but even those, none of those are a condition on marriage. So do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
I
so
do.
then your
I do, Your
reaction
Honor.
was you walk in, You explode, you cry, blah, blah, blah. Oh, poor me, poor me. Sunil has 2 tattoos.
I was visibly upset. I didn't explode.
I'm going to dump him.
No, I was visibly upset. I didn't want to make a scene. In fact, we carried on with the Sangeet that night, and I was processing what I had seen. And mainly,
it's not like he was kissing another girl. You knew he had tattoos.
He basically told me these women meant a very significant part of it, and he refused to take them off.
But you can't erase his past.
I wasn't trying to erase his past, Your Honor. I was trying to get him to...
This was the night that she turned cold, and it was very embarrassing because this was part of our celebration for our wedding. All of our friends and family were there, and she just turned cold. And
did you decide at that moment you weren't getting married to him?
I felt hurt by it, and I felt like I couldn't move forward with the wedding, and so I told my parents...
And so the next day, her father called my father to cancel the wedding. And call it off.
So they canceled. Okay.
She didn't even have the decency to talk to me herself.
Her father called, broke up the marriage, then that was it?
Yes, well, the thing with Indian weddings is that there are a lot of people involved, and everybody travels from far and wide to come there. So on such a short notice, having a wedding canceled is extremely humiliating and embarrassing.
So did you guys try? Did you try to tell her, I still want to marry you?
No,
this is no big deal?
After what she did, I got to see her true colors, and so I did not want
So she called it off, and you're like, okay.
She called it off, and then I realized...
Blessing in disguise.
I felt upset that she couldn't recognize the effort that I had made to remove those tattoos.
I'm upset for you, because you're adorable. I mean, come on. Look at him. Why should Sunil, number one, pay A, the full amount if it was you two getting married, and 2, why should he pay anything if you're the one who technically breached the contract?
I didn't breach the contract, Your Honor.
You called off the wedding.
I called off the wedding, but the agreement we had was that he would take the tattoos off before the wedding.
But remember, we already established that that's not a condition of a wedding.
So Nirali's father calls Sunil's father the next day to cancel the wedding. Sunil says she didn't even have the decency to speak to him directly. Nirali tries to contact him afterwards to discuss the deposit money, and he blocks her. And now he is in court, engaged to a new woman named Asha, who, by the way, got his name tattooed on her in colour, over his heart, and is telling the court that his past relationships made him who he is. Good for Asha, genuinely. She knows what she signed up for, and she is at peace with it. That is her right. But that does not retroactively mean Nirali had to be okay with it too. Different people have different boundaries, and Nirali's boundary was not unreasonable. It was agreed to. The judge ruled in Sunil's favour, saying Nirali breached the contract by calling off the wedding. She denied the $9,000 claim entirely. And I'm sorry, I just cannot get there. The contract was to get married. The condition for getting married was tattoo removal. He did not fulfill that condition. She did not walk away from a healthy agreement. She walked away from a broken one.
That's not. So you decided to break off the wedding.
I decided I couldn't trust him. I thought it was a breach of my trust. I felt betrayed.
You didn't even give him a chance to explain. That's a breach of trust.
Well, I did try to contact him. I did try to contact him to discuss the deposit, and he blocked me.
All right. So then I understand you are now engaged?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Asha? Okay. So then how did you meet Asha so quickly afterwards? Because I was going to set you up with my daughter.
Sorry,
Asha.
I'm happily with Asha. We've been together for a few months now. I met Asha about a month after the engagement broke up. And the difference here is that now we're actually dating in person.
Oh,
which was
good.
unlike any other relationship before.
And your parents are okay with that?
Yes.
They're super conservative?
Yes, because they've noticed now...
the difference.
You
okay with the tattoos?
Yes, I am. I think that your past relationships, your past moments, they make you who you are. And those tattoos, those girls, they made him who he is, the man that I love.
I understand one of them in your statement. One was a young lady who passed away?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, so I had 2 tattoos left out of the ones that Nirali saw. One of them was my first girlfriend, Shivani. Which is special to anybody, your first love. And the other one was Meena, who was one of my girlfriends, but she died tragically in a car accident.
Did you know that?
I did.
Wow, that's sad.
Speaking on the topic of tattoos, now I've gotten Asha's name tattooed on my body as well. Because she thought that it was fitting to...
I hope you guys get married.
I actually got the biggest tattoo, and it's right over his heart. I think you should show it. I think you should show everyone. Is that okay,
then
Your
I'm
Honor?
going to be mad I can't set him up with my daughter.
Actually.
I think you should see it, Your Honor.
So it doesn't bother you at all, Asha, that you have?
No, it doesn't, because
And your parents, are they super conservative too?
my parents are a little conservative as well, but they've allowed
Oh my
me to
God,
date
and you
him.
got it in color too.
I know, it's blue, my favorite color.
Oh my goodness, okay. All right, I'm not into tattoos, but I do think they're beautiful, so good for you, congratulations. Anything else you'd like to say, Ms. Joshi?
I, felt that I went into this process with an open heart, and I was very excited to meet Sunil, and I was in love with him. In fact, I'm having a hard time processing all this. I've been depressed for months, and to see him move on so quickly, it's a little startling to me.
Well, when you've been hurt so badly by someone like you, it's easier to move on that way, I would think.
Yeah. Essentially, Ms. Joshi, you're suing Sunil for, really his family too, for the full amount of the deposit that you paid or your family paid. And unfortunately, the contract was for you guys to get married. So it's kind of like in some states, the ring. Who keeps the ring? Some say, if you break off the marriage, you get your property back. Say no. Some, it's a condition. When you just broke the marriage. I mean, you broke the contract. You were going to get married. You're the one who basically said, I'm out. You didn't even give him a chance to even try to talk to you or to remedy the situation. So you're the one who basically said, I no longer want to get married. So it's not fair to make him pay for that because you broke off the wedding and your parents agreed. So based on the evidence, unfortunately, I cannot grant your claim of $9,200, okay? Good luck to you all.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
Learn my lesson. Make sure to meet them in person as soon as possible.
Well, I think justice was served. It's always painful to get hurt when you least expect it, but I'm glad that we can move on and we can just be happy with each other.
I have watched a lot of court cases. I have seen a lot of verdicts that made me tilt my head sideways. But this one is going to stick with me. Because at the core of it, this is not really about tattoos. It is about whether the person you are about to spend your life with respects the agreements they make with you. And 2 days before a wedding is not the moment to find out they don't. Nirali said she learned her lesson. Meet in person as soon as possible. And honestly, that is the most composed, self-aware thing anyone said in that entire courtroom. I want to know what you think. Do you agree with the judge, or do you think Nirali was owed that money back? Drop your verdict in the comments right now. And if this breakdown hit different for you, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this channel. If you are new here and you want more breakdowns like this one, subscribe and come back, because we do this every week. I'll see you in the next one.